Yeah, welcome back in. Couple hours left in a Friday afternoon here. Couple hours left, let's be honest, in the 2023 trading year. This is the last day, the last 2 hours to go here. So we'll round things out for you. I was just watching Tesla on a bounce. Just popped up in front of me on a volume scanner, but I actually don't see that. Might have been a dark print or something, but very, very low volume past few minutes here. In fact, for Tesla, back above 250. We'll touch on Tesla coming up. Decent headline this morning for them. Ends up being a bit of a fade. That's the market overall. 0.31. Yes, the positive week is still intact for now. 2 hours to go here, but working on a 9th in a row for the first time since 2004 here. Positive week. 9th in a row for the first time since 2004. Potentially, it's close, so we'll see how things round out. But definitely a lot of red on this board right now. Tesla, one of those, down 1%. Amazon 0.6%. A lot of big tech weakness, 1.2% there for Meta, Oracle, Netflix, CRM. Google leading the way as well, about 0.5% downside for GOOGL. Microsoft, the lone big seven, magnificent seven, whatever you want to call them, in positive territory there. Apple downside as well to the tune of about 0.7%. Let's be honest, there's not a lot of volume. There's not a lot of movement or volatility to talk of right now, but we'll focus on a few things. If you're with us in the pre-market this morning, we were touching on, record highs for a few things, including the NASDAQ. Over the past few sessions, past couple of weeks here, we've had this continued rally into the end of the year. Yes, the Santa Claus rally is still intact as well. Remember, the first 2 trading sessions of next year also included in that. So the final 5 or 4 in this case, with Monday being the holiday, and then 2 on the other side of this long weekend. Remember, this is also a long weekend. No trading Monday. The market is closed for New Year's Day. Happy New Year to everyone out there. Make sure it's a safe one. There's a couple things to note right now. Yields back to the upside here to end off the year, the back half of which has been nothing but downside for yields right across the board. The 10-year and the 30-year specifically, the longer dated ones under significant pressure. 2 days ago, we had the 30-year under that 4% mark for the first time in better part of a year. We are back above it right now, but only just about 4.03 as far as the 30-year is concerned right now. So we're discussing a whole bunch of things. If you're with us in this morning, we'll get into a bit of a review as to how those played out on the trade idea front this morning. Nvidia was top of the list this morning. We were discussing this new GTX 4090D gaming chip, which is exclusively going to be for China and sales in China, and that is all for okay, that's good. And that is all for to get around these U.S. restrictions and U.S. export restrictions specifically. So, I mean, the chips across the board haven't been all that positive so far today. Guess what? Obi has made the trek across the stage and is now back in his seat for the afternoon. What's up, guys?
No. I told, yeah, thanks, Brendo. Yeah, you know, you're right. I mean, I said, Obi, man. Hey, what's up, Obi? How's it going? I told Obi, go take a break, man. I mean, come on. You know, I've been known to talk a little bit, so I'll be able to hold this for a little bit. All right, well, welcome back to the show. It's going to be a good one. Again, we always say that here into the close, but I feel like, you know, today we could get a little bit more action than expected. Only because it's the end of the year, baby. I don't have any champagne here, but we will be hopefully popping off some winners at some point. Okay, Nvidia, look. Oh, wow. Okay. I actually should have been better prepared for this. I didn't even realize that we were back up here to 5 bills already. So, wow. I mean, hello. Nvidia today, no ticks for me on this stock here today. We were trading some AMD, and we'll talk about that after. Well, we could talk about AMD right now, maybe even. But back up to $4.99. Okay. I wish I would have saw that maybe. I'm still looking at 5 bills. I mean, how good of a trade was that today? And we actually wrote it here on our sticky note that we'd have to look at Nvidia up at this level as well. We had AMD written down for 150. We'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, Nvidia, nice move up in the last little while. Obviously touches 5 bills again. The most it went down on this, actually, I mean, how good is that? You know, next time actually, me and Brendan were talking here before this show started, you know, looking to say, like, what can we buy? And I was like, you know what, I don't want to buy, actually, I said this on the first show, I don't want to buy anything until the new year, let alone the first couple weeks in the new year. I want to let this market settle down and maybe get into February, and we'll talk about why. We'll talk about that all on the podcast, which you can get tomorrow. Make sure you double check that. Go right now. Open up. So I'm going to just say, hey, you know, hey Siri, you know, favorite the Trader TV Live podcast. Here, my phone is acting up right now. Let me see if that says anything. So right there, make sure you go grab that. That's tomorrow live. Okay. My phone is like, sorry, you're screwing up. So make sure you do that. But the idea behind AMD and NVIDIA is that the story keeps going with chips, right? I mean, what a great day it's been. What a great month it's been. What a great year it's been for a lot of these names. I mean, NVIDIA's up 234% this year, something like that. And it all started in November when we had that chat GPT come through. And Microsoft was like, okay, we're invested. We're invested in OpenAI. And we're invested for $13 billion. It's added how many hundreds of billions to their market cap. And of course, without the chips, there is no AI. It needs to be produced. It needs to be, the data needs to be gathered. And then, you know, we'll talk more about this on the podcast, but I think we all know the story. So AMD today, I was really excited for the long. Obviously, the market's not been long today. Although if I told you the NASDAQ, all those feels that we had earlier in the day, the NASDAQ would only be down 0.37 right now. I feel like that's actually a win here today. But look at VWAP here for AMD. I mean, 149, pretty clear as day, coinciding with that trade right there. I like that position for 149, possible short for AMD. The position that I'm in though right now is Intel. And again, this is going to go right up the board here for a winning position for me. Intel. Obi, I said take some time, man. You don't have to come back right now. Hey, I mean, I'm glad to have you back. What's up, Obi?
I'm right.
He's right here. He's right here right now. This guy does not stop. By the way, thank you so much.
Won't stop.
Well, you can
Like
stop.
this,
And you probably trying to adjust my mic. You probably should learn to stop at some point because otherwise you'll be 65 years old like me and still trading. No.
That sounds like a dream, man.
It's not.
I'll be honest.
No, it's is it a dream? You know what? The thing about this isn't, again, something that me and Brendan and you and I talk about all the time, is that trading is about trying to be your own boss. I mean, you're basically being your own boss. It's like, I always say this, that the market is really our boss, but it's about controlling your own ability to have potentially, you know, a better life that you can control outside of the man. You know, I mean, look at Sharif. You know, he wants to go on, take the day off. You take the day off. You know, well, not half a day off. So that's what it's about. It's about trying to be able to develop a consistent strategy that you can replicate over time and produce winning results for an income stream. And I mean, that's a very, very tough thing to do. And I respect Obi and all the decisions that he makes on a daily basis here as well. And right now, what was comedy gold? What did I do there? I don't know what I did there, but to me, there's the key word right here. What's up, Elon? And this is why I'm glad that you said that that would be a dream for you, because look, here, come to the screen quickly right now. I just want to show everybody. This is what it's about. Hi, Sean, trading is a passion.
100% agree with that. I 100% agree with that.
You cannot disagree with it, because if you do disagree with it, then you are simply not in the right space. And I mean, I put this, you know, obviously, I have a great example in my own life right now, and that is like, both my kids play hockey, but one of them is so much more passionate, much more? I think that's right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thank you, Adara. So much more passionate than the other.
Yeah.
So it's like that particular, it's my daughter who's more passionate than my son about hockey anyways. So it's like, for me, put the effort and everything into that for her because she's so passionate about it. To not force something on somebody. So when you're sitting here, and it just goes by that stupid saying that if you like what you do, then you're really not working a day in your life, you know? Like, so I still consider this work, and I feel to grind. And actually, shout out to Wayne over there. Because Wayne was like, yo, you know, what's going on? I really like Wayne, by the way. He's really, really great guy. Yeah.
Love that guy.
So the thing is that he was like, oh, what's going on for New Year's? And I was like, probably not much. We're dropping the kids. We're going out tonight. We're doing our sort of thing tonight. We're going to that concert and blah, blah, blah. And I said, what about yourself? And he said that he's actually trying something right now where if you're going to be in a volatile job, and this is something that he had read and looked at. If you're in a volatile job, then your lifestyle should be less volatile. Because otherwise, then you're just like chaos in the mind all the time.
Yeah. You're always on the go, go, go.
Right.
You're always like...
Yeah, exactly. So that's like when I get home, and part of it is like chill out. We talk to Brendan all the time, going to the gym, Sharif as well. You know, you've mentioned some stuff like that. Chill out, hang out, play video games, decompress a little bit. Right now, for New Year's, I mean, go wild. But, you know, I'm just saying for your lifestyle, part of it is, you know, slowing things down a little bit, you know? Like
you can't be trending all the time. Sometimes you have to consolidate.
Yes.
That's what you're saying?
Man, this guy, yeah, I guess you're passionate about it. I mean, I'm trying to talk about life here, and you just bring it back into the market, but I like that.
Trading and life, I think, have a lot of similarities if you really...
Well, you hear Warren Buffett wants, you know, 12 hours of sleep a day, or, I mean, he's waking up super early. But there's other people, we have some pitchers on the Blue Jays that, like, they get 14 hours. That Kikuchi, he wants 14 hours of sleep before every start, you know, so he can be, like... focused and you know, all that kind of stuff. And then there's others, my example there was going to be Donald Trump and Warren Buffett, that I don't know what time they go to bed, but they're up super early to study and get that advantage ahead of everybody else, right? So it's about balancing your life and you know, your social life and your work life as well, not trying to have too much chaos in the mind. Anyways, okay, what else do we want to talk about? Trading, okay.
Yes.
Let's go back. AMD, AMD, Intel, I'm short Intel right now. Let's see what happens here in the chip space, but we're gonna go talk about Google quickly.
Sean, you look fantastic for 65, by the way. I would pay a lot of money to sleep 14 hours, I think, but that's insane. I went back to, this is the SPY, so the S&P 500 ETF. I went all the way back to 2004. Insane that that's 20 years ago, but here we are. This was the last time that we had 9 weeks in a row, because we are still working on a 9th week in a row. Notice the range here, tiny. So these are weekly bars. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 weeks in a row. That was the last time that we had 9 weeks in a row to the upside. If you zoom into where we are today, we are still hanging on to about 0.3% of it's less than that now, 0.27 right now % of a positive week. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So first time since 2004, potentially, if we close positive today for the market. Now that I'm saying this, obviously that won't happen. So, sorry. Google was on the board this morning as well. We got this $5 billion settlement, as we were saying. Cost of doing business for Google. They were tracking people's movement online and not really signifying or telling anyone that. But Google, guys, nice bounce today, ends up being a bit of an inside bar overall.
Yeah.
Bit of a bounce.
See, this is the thing, like what Boris was just talking about. He said a billionaire was asked on his deathbed what was his last wish. He said he wished he had more time. And I mean, that's to me is what it's all about. Yeah, and I don't know. Someone said I Googled what Trump's day starts at. It starts at 11. Look, I'm just talking about what he says. I don't know if it's true or not, what time he is. I just remember him saying that he's like the earliest riser and all this kind of stuff. So anyway, shout out to everybody that's Googling everything I'm saying now. That's probably not a good thing for me. Okay, so what are we talking about? Oh yeah, Google. So one thing that I Googled,
yes,
you know, was what their cash position was. And I told you it was 100 cash and cash equivalents, of course, maybe shorter duration bonds or whatever they're holding their money in, was $120 billion. So the potential of this settlement, the number that we had in our watch list was somewhere around possibly 5 billion or something. We don't know exactly what the settlement was there, but I just think whenever we're talking about tech names, there's just so much more room for all of these names to go. Just because if you're gonna play the long game, especially, and what I mean by that is not long as in long position, but longer duration, I feel like you're gonna wanna be into these names like Google and Meta and Amazon and all that. And maybe you don't buy it up here because of how high we've gotten. And we're gonna talk about PE ratios and all that kind of stuff. I'm trying to save stuff for the pod because now my mind is like all about that. You know, maybe wait for dips. And I just think we've gone overextended in a lot of these names. Like when you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, it's like 6 or 7 straight days up. You know, a little bit of panic here in the last couple days, but we're still top heavy on a lot of these names. So I feel like you just buy the dips in a lot of this and you'll be okay. It was just about tracking data and stuff like that. I feel that First of all, I need to get out of some of this because JP Morgan's trying to come down finally. I feel that we already know what we're doing when we're signing up for this stuff, right? I mean, iOS, this goes back to, I think this was a story this year as well, or maybe it was last year, where iOS started, that's Apple's, of course, their operating system, started to ask you if you wanted to be tracked or not. And that really sent Meta to the ground, you know? That was part of that move down for Meta as well. And it's just like, you know, now they ask you very nicely, do you want this app, right when you install the app? You have an iPhone or?
No. Android.
Android, okay. So do they do that for you? Do they ask you when you download it if you want to be tracked or not?
I don't remember,
It
but
might
I think
automatically
there's
be
settings in the phone itself.
Right, yeah. So yeah, of course there's settings in the phone. But anyways, part of it is asking the consumer, do you want this app, whatever it is, Auto Trade or whatever, to track your activity or whatever. Now I just say no every single time.
Yeah.
You know, so I feel like, you know, these companies are still surviving despite
They'll
me
find
saying
ways.
no.
They'll
They'll find ways
yeah.
to figure this all out. So for me, it's kind of like a nothing burger, that Google story, but still, reason to be concerned a little bit. As you know, regulations are always going to be there. We talked even yesterday with Kevin O'Leary about the FTC and different things like that, and Cherie's favorite, Lena Khan there. And it's just like, you know, this is part of the game when you're a tech company and you're just this big.
Yeah, no, I think that's a fair look there. 5 billion again. We talked about this morning. A little bit of dirt on the shoulder for Google there, and yeah. So when they're sitting on such a large cash position, a $5 billion is I would say less than a slap on the wrist there. But in terms of what we've been doing, I think we're a little toppy here with the action we've been getting into this 143, 142 area. Again, strong selling with respect to what happened last Wednesday and coming in for the rest of these weeks as well. You can see that these tops 143, 142s get sold, and today, even off of that news, we got a little bit more of the same, where previous day's level was pretty much rejected and we flushed to the downside here. But yeah, VWAP holding as of right now alongside a lot of other tickers kind of in and around their VWAP as of right now. But yeah, Google kind of interesting. That 140 was a level I was looking at for the past couple of days. Clearly a little bit of a support, and that support turning into resistance as of right now or today on Google.
To the weekly chart for Bitcoin here, nice flag forming on the weekly time frame after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks in a row to the upside. We get one red, one green, then back to. It looks like it's going to be a small red week here for crypto. We were talking this morning about this Hut 8 story. I mean, there was a couple other things moving around. Ryan Mara as well. Mara, I should say. Doing significant volume. Mara was already over 1 million shares at 9:15 in the morning this morning. So active, to say the least. It's worth mentioning. You kind of touched on it there, Sean. But the end of the day today will be significantly higher volume than normal. Final trading day of the year, final close of the year typically sees definite increases in volume.
Obi's key level of 15,000 for Bitcoin never got hit, so he was unable to get in.
Load the boat
at
under
those
15
levels.
was the game plan, but that never really came in.
Well, you didn't buy Coinbase at $40 a month and a half ago, or whatever it was? Okay, so, or $70, sorry. $40 is the very bottom. Imagine that, it was $40 up to $190. Okay, so you just saw the Bitcoin chart. Obviously, it's been a monster. It's been one of the best asset. Is it an asset class? I don't know. One of the best asset classes, I'll call it, this year, quite frankly.
Ever?
Ever?
So.
Maybe not ever.
One of
There
the
were
best
these
performers?
tulips back a long time ago there
Yes.
in Holland there that were going absolutely crazy. That was a great asset class. And then NFTs was great for about a month. That was a great asset class as well. But I don't know about forever, but you know, I feel like Bitcoin is going to be something. And the reason why I was saying this yesterday to some of the guys, it's too bad, man. Looks like JP Morgan's going to take out VWAP. It just went down and I was like, okay, we're back in the money again. And we took one piece out there a while ago. This is well, not a while ago, about 10 minutes ago. And now it looks like we're going to take this out. So it looks like we'll get stopped out on that one. Intel's still working out for us as well. But I just think Bitcoin works, right? It's solving the problem of transferring maybe not wealth, but being able to transfer funds over back and forth. So I feel like Bitcoin's working. You could see GBTC here. And again, the network, from as far as I know, never really goes down. Maybe it's slow at times, and you're gonna have a problem, of course, and this is what we talked about yesterday with hash rates and things like that as that gets all sorted out. But you know, we do have some big announcements coming next month as far as legislation or acceptance of some of these ETFs and what the rulings are going to be there. Again, if you did want to find out more about this, yesterday at about 10:50, we had Kevin O'Leary on spewing all kinds of stuff about crypto and that kind of, you know, he's talking about being to Washington every month and hearing all this stuff and how Coinbase is now 0 for 3 or whatever against Gensler, sorry, and you know where that's going to go from here. So we'll see. But anyways, here's GBTC on the daily. This is a good instrument to trade. It tends to track Bitcoin, except for I wasn't too pleased with it the last couple times I've traded it. But here you go. Look at this huge move up, man. There we go. Damn it, JP Morgan just broke the high. I was trying to short the banks there. Maybe that didn't work out. But look where we were back in January when you want to talk about like an asset class that's been booming. You could have got GBTC for $10. Oof. It's $35 right now. So, you know, 300%, whatever, to the upside. It's been an absolute monster, and I think Bitcoin continues to work.
Yeah, I think again, gonna stay in play as long as it has those like solid moves and that volatility and that overall structure kind of building into some of these levels here. But Mara on the day here, we talked about this a little earlier as well, breaking yesterday's lows in and around that 28 level. You can see a bit of a distinct buying even in the pre-market off that 28. Sure, you violated by about 40 points, but that 28 bid kind of comes back in all day yesterday. And coming in today, a little bit of continuation. So it's as if this 32 sold off. We consolidated all day underneath 30, and then today coming in, we got that continuation of the move, the second leg down potentially, or the first leg down? If you want to call this first leg consolidation, second leg. But anyways, continuation of the move from that selling we saw in the pre-market yesterday as well happening today. Strong move to the downside. Bitcoin also pulling back. I think last I checked, we kind of did a little bit of a flush at that 10 a.m. Mark as well on Bitcoin today. You can see it's kind of coming in with the volume, but still pretty much healthy there. I think that Brendan pointed out pretty well there when we pulled up the weekly, and on the weekly it's just consolidating sideways. So that's just consolidation off of this initial kind of push right here. But I think again, like you said, these names have been accumulating volume. They've been trending for a while and kind of potentially in anticipation of Bitcoin stair-stepping up, right? Never got that 15 flush. I read in the chat, Derek was saying, you and me both, Obi, I had resting limit orders to buy a BTC from 15K to 8K on a capitulation move, and that never happened. I was like, yeah, that's what I was looking for. I was looking for that hard flush through the 10s, through the 15s to kind of just buy all those prices, but that never really comes in. But that's perfectly fine. I think Sean also points out that there are other opportunities that you can capitalize on that did 2x, 3x as well, much later on. Right, so I think that's definitely a good look there. But yeah, we're catching a little bit of a sell today, along with the market on a lot of these crypto names. Let me just check out MSTR as well. Wow, yeah, definitely. If you wanted to capture this move and a few points off of this move, MSTR was your guy right there, doing about 55 points to the downside on that flush. Crypto in play.
All right, we'll touch on Uber here, down 2.4%. There was a downgrade this morning. It did try to get back to positive territory, very quickly did, or very briefly did, and also quickly. Right back to lows essentially now, 2.5, still top end of the range. One of the best stocks in the S&P 500 though this year. Nomura says that's too much, goes to neutral with a $62, or 59 from 62, guys.
Nomura, oh, no more, too much, no mas. Okay, that's a nice story.
So when Nomura gives a downgrade.
Yeah, you better pay attention. And the funny thing is Uber can go directly into the basement for me because, oh man, look at this chart.
Oh, you had it.
Yeah, I had it twice, my guy.
Third time's the charm.
Is it? I'm not shorting now.
I've heard.
Yeah, that's what they say. That is what they say. Yeah. Anyways, Uber to the downside. I used the story today of like, you know, we buy the tops here because of the S&P 500 inclusion. It had a huge move to the upside. I still like the name. Travel names are huge. You know what the fifth largest gainer is? Oops, I just typed it into the S&P 500 this year. It's Royal Caribbean. You know, the bottom of this stock into where we are right now. And by the way, I have to talk about this because I'm going to take NVIDIA long through 500. I just want to see that thing go, see if it goes. It's getting close to 498. Yeah, look, back in January, here's Royal Caribbean down to $50, now up to 130. So 50 to 1, it's almost 200%, you know, on this one. So there it is right there, January of 2023, Royal Caribbean was $50. You double it up, you get to 100. Then you go again, and that's what we're talking about, right? So 100%, almost 100, probably 170% or something. Monster move up for RCL. So anyways, I don't know what it has to do with Uber other than I was talking about the travel names and how they seem to be back a little bit. You could see some airlines and stuff like that. I still like Uber. I'm still long it, but I did get some out. Actually a little bit higher than this in the 62 range. It sucked when it went up to $63, $64, but now you're starting to bump down. I say for this one, we use the 50 period moving average and just get long in and around $56. If it comes back into that area, I think that's going to be a good play. Look, they're making money, but they're not making a lot. We'll see. I'd like to see their next quarter. I think we talked about when their next quarter was, wasn't it the 16th or something of February? Where is it? 14th of February. So is that Valentine's Day? Right there coming through. So we'll see if Uber tells us that they're still making all of that cash. I'm sure they are, and I'm sure it's great, but I just think it's overdone. And of course, whenever you get them to these tops, and if you go back to Uber and you actually zoom out a little bit, I should have used the other charts. It's gonna take a minute, but there's levels up here near $60 as well that we could, oh man, this might take more than a minute, that we can look at. Okay, whatever, I'll call up on a better chart. But anyway, $60 has been some support or some resistance at certain points, so we'll wait for Uber to come back in a little bit off those tops.
Yeah, no, I like that look there. Kind of, I'm looking for a potential backside on this move there through that S&P ad. Again, a strong volume top made at that 63.5. You kind of come in, consolidate, and now you're selling off. But sideways, nonetheless, holding that 61. So I think some of these levels, 60, 61, 59 as well. You can see a lot of these consolidations and that volatility come in off of these prices there. So I'm going to say patient there, but I do like the idea of Uber backside short. Potentially through this 61, but I don't think it hasn't shown anything of the sort, kind of leading me to believe that okay, we are now on the backside. Like we're pretty much sideways. No significant lower highs or lower lows have been made. No real support levels have been significantly broken as of right now. So going into the new year, I think Uber will definitely be a bit of a decent look. That 64 high could very well come in also, right? So kind of trying to stay nimble on that idea, but I am leaning a little bit more towards the backside.
All right, Baidu just on a pretty good move down right now. I wasn't seeing anything, but decent volume behind this as well, popping back in, back to the downside. Still positive on the day. Nice couple of days, in fact, here for Baidu. If you missed it this morning, they came out and said earning now is 100 million users. They're charging $8.99, I believe it is, for it on a monthly basis for anyone their large language model similar to ChatGPT. They came out similar timing as well to that, but overall, positive day, guys, but not much to do. It's been kind of back and forth overall coming into 119.
And there's so much happening right now. We're really starting to get ramped up here on Intel. I just took another JP Morgan short. I'm going to talk about Baidu and Ernie and all that and Bert and all that. But right now, I'm just looking at the NASDAQ, trying to break lower here. If we break this shelf, I mean, really the shelf is going to be 17,000. Right, so that's what we're looking for the NASDAQ right here. See if we can pull down a little bit. We've had this move before and sort of stopped. So let's see if we can continue through right now, back breaking the 50 period moving average. The difference the last time we stopped at the 50 period moving average. Now we didn't come close to doing that. Well, we did, but you know, it's only 10 handles from here. We could easily bump back up, but where's the support? Maybe 17,000. So just to give you guys an update, we're getting more out of Intel, and I put on some shares, so that was gonna be a good trade against 50 now. So we're more than 1-to-1 on this trade because our out was gonna be 60, which coincides with this. So what's my price? 50, so yeah, so that's gonna be the out. now in the money, and we just took a 35 fill. So that was a good one right there. Baidu, I didn't even look at Baidu this morning. I'm always only looking at Alibaba, it seems like, but let's just see what happens with Baidu here today. And again, as Brendan mentioned, the large language models are all the rage right now. And of course, this one going to be operating in China. And like I said, now that they're able to get some of those NVIDIA chipsets and graphic cards and all that kind of stuff, yeah, I could see this name moving. We talked about relative underperformance in China, and here's another example with Baidu. So I just feel like more due diligence is due on these names. And the reason why is there's so much upside in a lot of these tech names. You're gonna compare, I don't know if Baidu is the Google of China or whatever it is, but they all have those comparisons. And it's like, you know, with Alibaba and Baidu, and then look at this name, TCEHY, Tencent is the everything in China. And look at this name. This name's gotten really beat up. Like, once it loads again, I'll be able to show you, but you're well under a lot of levels. So here we go. Like, look at Tencent. If you like it, you know, they got hit on that gaming note the other day. And again, I don't know enough about it, but there's still room to go to the downside. So this is what I mean. If you like some of these names and you're done paying top dollar, Amazon's at the top, Google's at the top, Meta, they're all there. These names aren't. So I feel like there is going to be some strength coming in China at some point. It's just, I still feel, I don't like hearing that President Xi just tells Biden, yeah, we'll probably take Taiwan. Like, he just casually tells him that when they got together a couple weeks ago. You know, to me, that's not great. You saw the reaction that all these companies had. McDonald's pulled out of Russia, a whole bunch of names sort of put these boycotts on Russia and all that for what they did to Ukraine. Now, whether or not that's going to happen to China is a completely different story. So we'll see, but I still think that there's a shoe to drop there, and that's what makes me the most nervous.
Yeah, definitely stirring the pot there with some of those comments.
I don't think you.
We have yet to see what will come into fruition there, but definitely that techie name has been doing some significant volume. I've been watching. It's been showing up on my Tencent Arvol scanner. Like, it's been on there almost every day after that.
So that's good to know.
Dump down, so it's doing significant volume. That's for sure. Again, it's not very often that OTCs do significant volume, but one is definitely an opportunity is there for sure. But yeah, Baidu with the moves today, I was looking down. I had Baidu 120 written down. Did I miss it? Yes, I did. I was looking for the long through the 120. Glad I didn't really take it, as it only does about 25 pennies above that 120, but that 120 definitely seems like it was a decent place to interact and transact with, as the high is only about a quarter above that, and we flush right back down into previous days' range. So pretty much sideways there on Baidu, but as Sean kind of pointed out, not the only ADR to watch today. There's a lot in play for sure.
All right, I guess we're done the rundown. Now let's try to look for some trades. So the market again, you know what, Obi, like, I'm hoping for some movement.
I missed a long on Nvidia, I'm just gonna say.
Did it go through 5 bills?
No, but it came down, it tested the lower end of this, here, I'll pull it up on here. So
I see what you're gonna say, yeah.
Yeah, so this was the flush. So I observed, I was like, okay, we're in a very strong trend right here. Through VWAP, through the reversion, right? And I'm watching it. I see this pop into that 499.20s, and then the flush. There's the first push into the last dollar before the 500, and you get that strong flush. So I was like, okay, well, I can risk in and around these lows to get in. And look, I had to cancel my order because I posted. And obviously on a name like Nvidia, if you throw out a limit order or you post, it can definitely leave you kind of standing there just watching the move there. So I was like, okay, I can risk in the 70s and the 60s, kind of lower than this consolidation range, and look for the continuation of this strong trend off of a full, pretty much 100% reversion going into a 500 break. That's a decent look there, and instantly rebids the 948. Pushes up 949s, and now we're printing a quarter away from the 949. So that would have been a pretty decent scalp, potential for churning some cash flow into 500.
Yes, flow.
It's the trade though.
I just put this.
I'm patiently waiting for more.
Yeah, exactly. I think patience is a good one. Here, this is a 5-minute chart on the NASDAQ. So this is what I'm looking for right here. is this break. That gets us above VWAP, gets us above the 1740 level that's been broken, that's been holding. So like, you know, when we have a 1 minute chart, maybe you don't see the levels as obvious, but I mean, it's kind of just, you do see it. But I think sometimes, you know, when you sort of zoom back out even to a 5 or a 10 minute chart, you know, that's pretty good. Like we made all the move down. And if you looked at the same thing, it would have kind of been right here, 16,980 or so for a level. And then once we broke through that, you know, you did make that move back up. So I always feel like if we can break this, then you try to make it back to that next sort of level that we've had. So that could be a 40 or 50 handle move back to the upside into the close of the day, which would not surprise me. And that would get us back to about zeros. And this is not going to be one of the more exciting Christmas or Santa Claus rallies, right? I mean, we talked about on average, it's been about 2.7% for the NASDAQ and about I want to say it's like 1.6 or so percent for the S&P. Maybe it's 1.4. We're not going to get to that. I think Brendan said today it was about 1% on the NASDAQ or maybe the S&P, both similar. So today we'll still hold pause. I mean, we could hold negative. We could go negative, I guess, in the 5 days preceding New Year's, but we'll see. Still seems like it's okay to me. All right. In the theory or in the spirit of shorting the banks, I'm also getting a little short in the pocketbook here because now this looks like it wants to go right back up to the upside again here for JP Morgan. So we've averaged into the short one more time. We got stopped out the first time it broke VWAP, but then it kind of ledged out there. It's going to go again. Damn it, man. These banks are just too strong. I was looking at it, and again, I'm trying to do the same thing that I talk about over and over again, trying to find relative strength versus weakness. I just think I thought the market had a chance to go down. We talked about it being underneath VWAP and going to the downside, and I just thought that, you know, something that's been going up. And look, I've been short the whole time. It's been 100% wrong. Like fighting this bank trend has not been right. I just thought why not retrace back down into here? We're at VWAP. Thought if the market did turn, we at least had a 170 print, and that would give me the right kind of risk to reward. Looks like we may lose another dime piece on this one right now, especially if it takes that level. And look, I mean, I like this level. Here it is right, okay, damn it, we're gonna get stopped. Like it's just gonna, there we go, we're stopped out. Like right back into here. I thought that was a good level. It held, ripped, held back, did not held, broke all the way to the downside. So now, you know, again, remember I told you what my Achilles heel is like keep on getting into the same name because we had some wins, but then at the end of the day, you get stopped out on, you know, what you're holding and that's too much, right? And so right there, the bank's back in. Looks like it's going to be a good one. See? And then it just comes back down a little bit. So I said to myself, oh, maybe we got stopped out at the top. But I don't think we should be averaging back into JP Morgan. It's been too strong today, even though it's only up flat. Too strong in the last 2 hours or so. So JP Morgan, let's stay away, although we were only short at 21, so getting out at 31 still sucks, but at the same time, here's a little bit of a pullback, and look what is working. It still seems to be Intel trying to work. I mean, I do have a big position, not a big position, but a decent one, so if this does fly into the downside, this will be a good win for me. But like, you know, I get out of that JP Morgan and now it's kind of just doing its own thing again here right now. So JP Morgan and AMD, really my two big losers today. But other than that, we got to find some more winners here. Maybe go over to Meta, something like that. Yeah, someone just said there, Ash wants to look at Meta, and I was thinking about that name. And still under VWAP. Oh, I got to get rid of that spike before you say anything. We went in and out there. But yeah, maybe 355. Tesla's always moving around. You know, that could be a name that we look at for sure.
The 250 was it?
Ooh, yeah, Tesla's right at 250 again. But see, I'd rather get it to these levels.
Yeah, that's kind of.
Is it worth kind of like dancing right now in this market? And then I was thinking like, hey man, we want to go Nvidia long break. But really, I don't know. Like here's another name where I was looking for go long at through 500 on Nvidia, just because if we got back up there, like. Maybe the fade is the right play on that name as well. I mean, it's okay because we're short right now. We're short Intel. So if the market does fall down, I really do like that position. And then look, man, Amazon. I know this is your stock, but I thought I was doing pretty good getting out right there at 153 off of a 154, 152.75, right? Yeah. Look at that, goes right back into that level, and I was like, okay. And then I felt pretty smart when that happened, but then this happened, all the way down to 151 again for Amazon. And look.
We're right back at it.
Like, is this not a short here? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, barcode central right now.
Yeah.
Hard to find winning trades when the market looks like this, to be honest with you.
I'm looking, so I said it on the midday show, I was like, I'm looking for the short on Amazon off of that VWAP consolidation. We've only been consolidating flat on top of VWAP, so that's not a trade for me yet. It might not even end up being a trade at all, but yeah, no, that VWAP consolidation on Amazon, I'm like, okay, yeah, you can risk. Okay, so here's the idea. Here was the idea, I guess. So highs here at the 60s, consolidation underneath VWAP. We've had strong selling. We've made higher highs on the day previously. That means we're making lower highs now, right? So VWAP, we're consolidating underneath it as of right now. But the fact of the matter is, the market is reverting. Softy's pushing for highs. Nvidia's pushing for highs. Google is attempting to break highs of consolidation right now, right there. VWAP consolidation highs right there, attempting to push back through it. I don't know whether it's going to get there or not, but it's trying to. And Nvidia 500 is coming right in, and I just missed my entry at 497.93. So I had to cancel it because as soon as I did put that order in, it just rips right back up through 498 there. So this was a little consolidation, but building up and setting up for that 500, now printing in the 498s. So again, no trade until we kind of pull back in or we go through that 500. But that Google, there it goes, blasting through its consolidation high. Well, not too significantly, but it's made a higher high relative to the highs that this consolidation has had. But you can take a look a little bit further left. The selling came or was stronger right here at this interim high at that 139.70s-ish area. We still have about 10 pennies to get back to that area. So still, this is still in my books there just a VWAP consolidation. We're just chopping and churning and recycling VWAP. We're kind of indecisive here. No idea where we're going to go off of this, but with the limited information that's been printed, these are technically this consolidation is technically a lower high than what we've been printing morning, and strong selling action on the day as well. So yeah, Amazon, the idea for Amazon was kind of similar. They're risking some of these highs to get short underneath the VWAP to take it back down, maybe potentially, I don't know about 151 all the way down there, but a little bit of a pullback off of VWAP maybe into that 152 and see what we do from there, as that was kind of a little bit of a bus stop on the way to back to VWAP there on the reversion. And you can see that the ES is making relatively newer highs with respect to the run back up we've had, and NQ is attempting to do the same here. 1740 will be if we push past that 1740, that could be a decent look there. But look, there's a little bit of weakness happening here on Amazon, so potential to get in for this trade might have been up in and around these 50s and 60s, maybe even 40s. We're not too far away from that, but that would have given you a 20 to 30 penny range to short off of right there. Take a look at this support, turn to resistance at that 152.60, coming in quite clean, just on a technical basis. Again, I want to say this again. Name technically not in play today, but in terms of there's market catalysts, there's news catalysts, there's also technical catalysts, and I think I like to lean a little bit more towards technical catalysts when there aren't any news catalysts around. But I think that when you do have the confluence of both the technical and the news, that's when some of the best trades are, right? But if they're not there in a slow, choppy market, I got to learn how to take this beta off some of these names as well, I think. So
that is the confluencing you're looking for, that's for sure. When two things line up, and we talked about that the other day when we had the volume, plus we had support and resistance, and that was at AMD yesterday at 150 was pretty important. Yeah, NASDAQ's coming down a little bit here, which is pretty good. And the chip names are falling as well. We just took double outs there on Intel. Intel came right back into 30. So again, 16 cents in the money. You know, we can't, again, we were short at 170.22 here on JP Morgan, and that was an L, but we did talk about it. So for losing on JP Morgan and winning on Intel is kind of just washing these trades. So looking to get into something and make a little bit more money here, so we can do that heading into the close. You know what level I really like that I just looked at? I was trading in and out of ARM. You and I talked about this a little bit as well, but if you just go to a 5-minute chart here for ARM right now, let's just do this quickly here, 5 minutes. All right, maybe I should take off these markers, but like, look at this. Pretty much barcoding on a name that's been real aggressive lately. So this seems like it's, I took a couple shots there on ARM, so whatever, a couple shots in the arm, I guess. But, you know, right there, 74.50. So this is just a tale of which way do you think the market's going to go. I don't want to, I'm not buying, so I'm not selling into ARM, but I will buy it. So I will buy the break here of 75.50. So that order is already in if we break higher. But you know what? We are starting to edge down. Look at the 50-period moving average going sloping down this way. If the market really loses itself today, ARM could, again, you know, you're bouncing off this 74.50 area, which kind of coincides with that bottom from yesterday before we went all the way back up to the top, $78. So I feel like there could be some relative weakness in ARM, especially if we break right here, right now. So it's just a matter of, do we like that trade? I mean, maybe I should ask some people in the chat here, because this isn't horrible, but maybe we got to wait for a 74.40, 74, you know, something like where we started yesterday. This is why we went to a 5-minute chart. And then if we break that, then, you know, definitely into some consolidation down here. So that gets you like that 40 or 50 cents of a break to the downside. So the more I'm looking at this, I'm kind of convincing myself that maybe we just play ARM to the short side now. I was really liking this break right here. It's because it gets us above the 50 period and then kind of gives us smooth sailing back up here to 76. So this is a trade idea that I have right now. Real trading. You know, I think you can get that break. And then again, ARM is one of the most expensive stocks in the market right now when you're going for PEs and stuff. So I would say watch out, man. I mean, there is something about this making that move back down below right now, especially if we break this 74.60, you could get an elevated move a little bit lower. Before I talk about what its PE is, let me just open it up, because I actually haven't looked at it in a minute since about last week, or when Neil and I were talking. I mean, we've been talking about it a lot, but where it doesn't have it in here. Okay, so we'll figure it out for you. But right now, maybe some of you guys know what the forward P is for ARM, but it's pretty extended at these prices. So I'll look at another source and see if we can find it. But ARM is pretty expensive, so I could see it getting sold off at this level as well. You know, I just know this is a name that people want to buy dips on because of mobile and what ARM means, and it's a recent IPO. So, but anyways, 74.60. Maybe that's a decent break that we should try. 74. We could try 74.50 and then use 60 as our out in case we're wrong. Let's just see what this market wants to do. It's still doing nothing, actually.
Yeah, I'm slow. I'm like watching this momentum into 500 on Nvidia slow down here on the tape, kind of patiently waiting. Like I said, I want to do here, again, miss the long entry for a potential push in that 500, but overall still holding a trend roughly well on NVDA. Let me just pull it up on this chart here. So yeah, Nvidia kind of a full-on V-shaped recovery. Highs were 500. We came right back in, testing 499.20s there, and now we're slowing down a little bit here. You can see that this trend was quite significant here, and we've kind of started going a little bit sideways, broken the trend, but still consolidating underneath that 500 as we did in the morning session. So pretty much we're back where we started here on Nvidia, and a lot of these other names as well. Now I'm noticing, Sean, that the top three names, well, maybe not Apple, but the other top names kind of back in well within their range. Nvidia for sure, Softy back within its opening range. We talked about how that 375 might be a little key there, and that 375 has a consolidation underneath VWAP before VWAP gets broken and some of those highs kind of come in as well. So we pretty much traded nowhere today.
Yes.
We're about to close with about an hour and 10 minutes left. If we stay in and around some of these prices here, we're going to pretty much close where we started off this morning. With a little bit of volatility sandwiched in between the moves there. But this look on 500 is decent. Nvidia is building up into it slowly but steadily. So I'll stay on watch for that. If you throw up a moving average on either a 3-minute, a 1-minute, or even a 5-minute chart, you'll see that it's holding trend quite well, even though we're starting to go a little bit sideways. But a little bit of consolidation in the same places where sellers came in the morning, I think is not too bad, as long as we hold these consolidation lows, right? So I think that we are poised for a 500 break if we continue to hold some of these levels going into the close and build into that 499 and 500 as well. So I'm gonna stay watching. Lake South Tiger saying, I think Mara has a parabolic bottom right now. So let's take a quick look. I don't know what that means, but a little bit of a parabolic move there. If you kind of turn the chart upside down, Mara. Yeah. So we're forming a little bit of a base in and around 24, 23, a little bit of a support level from before. You can see I have a couple lines of interest there. Just some previous support levels before we kind of started to run up this consolidation area here as well. But yeah, no, you know what? I'm just gonna get.
So Intel and Apple have been my number 1 and 2 stocks. I'm wondering about Apple breaking 192.50 here. All right, so this stock right here has a forward PE of 25. If anybody can guess which one it is, you're probably seeing that it says Nvidia up here. You're right. Nvidia right now with a forward PE of just 25, right? So let's just check out ARM right now quickly. Someone put 440 as the current PE in the chat. And yeah, 440 is the current PE for ARM. So that's what that is, right? So you're going to go over here into statistics, and you can see right here, this is just Yahoo Finance. So there it is, man. The forward PE, though, because of their guide, right? You need to, that's what you're basing it on, is only 58. But remember, Nvidia's is only 25, and the trailing PE of 441. So it's like it's absolutely blowing out all these other big tech names, and that is ARM. And it's just people are loving it, and they're running right now to buy as much as they can of it. The other big name is AMD, trailing PE, 1.3K. You know, like some of these moves that have happened in some of these names have just really blown out current valuations. I had no idea that AMD's right here, trailing PE was 1,000, 1,300. Like that's absolutely insane right now. But again, it just goes to show you that we're buying the future. We're buying what could be, right? And I mean, Apple, you're going to see here. Look at Apple's. I'm going to probably say it's around 30. Apple's 30 for a PE for Apple is actually quite high. Oh, I actually didn't know that. I know, no one's going to believe me, but it doesn't matter. Right there, so 31.5. No, it's because Apple's PEs are generally in line. That's why, because where it is. So, so Apple's pretty good. You want to look at your stock, Amazon, that always has a huge PE. So that probably has something blown out as well. We'll go over here to statistics and check out what Apple's, Amazon's is. So right now, 39. Forward PE, which is okay, and trailing of 80. That's probably in line right now for Yahoo, or for Yahoo.
When's the last time that ticker traded?
Well, Yahoo's gone, yeah. Hold on, statistics right here. Let me just check out one more. I wanted to check out what we were doing here with Intel, because this is generally known, forward P only 27, so still relatively cheap at these levels as well. So that's a little look in on price to earnings. And that's where I think that the next shoe to drop is earnings. Let's see the next round. We had such a great round. All of this started with Nvidia in May. Right? Like when Nvidia's quarter came out in May and the market just went like, oh, that's a nice story, where they were going to go 11 billion in revenue. Something was like, I think people were expecting like 1 or 2 billion. Yeah. They came out with 9 or 11 or whatever it was. I think it was 9 billion more.
Ridiculous multiples.
And then that's when we had to go. That's when Nvidia went. This is a daily chart, guys. Here's their report in May. Okay, it opened the day at 305. It closed at 363, and that's where we started to go. Obviously, we started earlier when we had, Microsoft's investment down here in October, November, and then boom goes the dynamite to the upside. But this is what started the earnings bonanza, right? So we're going to have to wait to see now what we could do with Nvidia still holding out near the highs again. So, what's been a very, very aggressive year for many, many names, a lot of it sparked there on what Nvidia did there in May. And then, of course, AMD was just a $94 name on their last quarter, and now it's $150. Hence that crazy ridiculous forward PE or current PE, sorry, on AMD. All right, JK, I see one more thing about a firm. And Bears versus Bulls, you can squash this guy or girl, because I don't want to flood on certain things. We like a firm. I like a firm. I love to short it. I don't know if you're long or short. I hope that this 49 long is something that you're in. Again, another name that still unable to make money. I don't think Maybe it will, maybe it won't. They got that deal with Best Buy. They're with Amazon. Something else I think just sparked them to the upside. I forget, was it Best Buy? No, Affirm was in with somebody else recently. But anyways, nice move up, man. Black Friday was huge. Cyber Monday, Boxing Day here in Canada. Again, a holiday named after Mike Tyson. Nice move to the upside. I feel like buy now, pay later is going to be a thing. You know, and obviously as rates get a little bit better, maybe that's a negative thing for a firm because people can then, you know, they'll see their credit card. Hopefully those rates get a little bit lower, which they're not, but maybe they will. I just, if the consumer ever gets weak, man, this name is well pumped. I think it's 24% short float right now in AFRM, 21%. So yeah, next earnings report, Feb 7th. Let's see what they talk about. But again, nice name. I still say it's a short. You know, give it to 51, but a good move back to the upside there, JK. So glad that you have that. And the other name, of course, in this space that is another huge runner is going to be Upstart. Another one with, this used to have like 30 or 40% short float. Let me just double check what it is right now. Shout out to Trade Ideas. Yeah, 44% short on Upstart. So this name just keeps on getting spicier and spicier. And look at the push down in Upstart. I just think it's a matter of time here before a firm kind of makes that same move back down. And I know they're not the same business by any stretch of the imagination, but you know, just in these overshot fintech names, I think a firm's the next leg to fall. And we've talked about that. I think it has a 3 handle on it in January.
Yeah, Nvidia coming right into that 500, only about 40 pennies away. And just watching the tape here, the stacks on the ask kind of just getting taken out. So sellers getting taken out above 499 on Nvidia for the 500 break. And again, we talk about how if it kind of holds above this these areas here, high of day again being 499.98. So we're just knocking on the door of the high, only 2 pennies away from 500. Now again, we've printed 500 in the past couple of weeks, right? The high has been, what was it, 504.31 I have here, and then even before that off of the earnings kind of pop and drop, 509, and then there's 511 highs, or sorry, never mind, not 511, 509 highs as well. So 500 is a level that's been printed over the past few weeks or so, but the fact that we're building up into it, creating that anticipation into that 500, and kind of forming some highs on the day in and around some of those levels, being 2 pennies away from 500, the high of day, that's very peculiar there, and we're coming up right into that 499 and change. But yeah, more chop and consolidation underneath the level. So I'm going to stay patient. I'm going to stay watching. But I liked that some of that size getting taken out on the ask very aggressively, and price holding above that 499. And as of right now, we're still holding above I guess. What is this level? 498, point of control-ish area, 497 and some change as well. This consolidation is what I'm talking about. So we're holding above some interesting levels here on the day, pushing right into 500, pretty much sandwiched by about 2 points. This consolidation, kind of a level here, 497 and that 498 and that 500, and we've just been shopping around. So I've been tempted a couple of times to take a scalp for like 50 pennies to like a point, but I'm like, this is Nvidia. If I'm going to take a trade on Nvidia, I'm looking for a few points at least. And we've done quite a few points back to the upside, 10 points or even more. 488s are the lows, and we ripped right back up to 500, kind of opening range consolidation highs. And yeah, I think this is going to be an interesting trade if it comes in. Only about 2 minutes away from Power Hour, Sean. Maybe Power Hour will have our answer.
I won't, but maybe. Yeah, no. So there's the break of the futures. We talked about that move, trying to get back up to the upside. So maybe now we kind of stick in the long. And I'm glad that you looked at talking about Nvidia there, approaching that 5 bills. I kind of like that long. I'm not. What is ARM doing? I'm not convinced ARM's not doing anything. Maybe it's AMD. You know, the name that I really was looking at there was Apple, and I sort of glanced over it a little bit when we were talking. Oh yeah, this wick. Let's zoom back out a little bit here. Hold on a second. Come on. Was hoping there would be something here, but look, I mean, what am I going to do? You're going to go long right now or short? I don't see it. My mistake today, I feel like we have a couple of them, and I mean, the first one, of course, was starting to punch that long in AMD. The second one was getting out of this Uber, but again, look, man, it went right to the 200 period, so I got out of it. Now, obviously, that was at 63. It's now at 61.60. So we did have a pretty big position right there. We were able to make money, and we're out a cup of coffee, but at the end of the day, we missed that whole sort of, to take Sharif or your word or whatever it is, quadunk, down there to the downside. Look, man, I have an alert set up here on eSignal. I have a couple different alerts. I have them also set up on, here's one on trade ideas for crossing VWAP. Like, we're not getting, like, 234 was the last, 231, 127. Like, there's a lot, and I just have it, there's more that's happening, but I have it so it doesn't auto reload like every single time it hits an indicator. And then even here, crossing 5-minute moving averages and things like that, like, this is 241, like Intel, PDD, Intel, PDCD group. Like, there's nothing right now in the market that's really triggering anything for me here. So I'd like to get into some more trades. So let's just have a quick look to see if there's anything that anybody wants to look at here as we can talk about what might happen here into the power hour. Palantir, ooh, 1725, okay. Let's have a look at what this looks like right now. Okay, so this isn't bad. Obviously, I still have a 5-minute chart up here. Okay, that's why. I was gonna say. We obviously missed that move in Palantir. You know what? I'm gonna switch this to a 3-minute here because the market's pretty slow. So it might help us see. And Adara, actually, you had a great question for Adara, by the way, and you did a great job on the midday show. So that's first and foremost. You asked Adara about trading Tesla and sort of the volume that it does versus other names that maybe trade a little bit less volume. And she said, like, I like Tesla because I can see the levels better. When there's some more volume, it gives us, you know, easier levels, and I think that that's a great call. And I also think that whenever you're having a little struggle time trying to find trades, you can always zoom out a little bit. So even though I'm using a 1-minute chart mostly, let's switch to a 3 because the market's kind of, you know, flat a little bit right now. So let's see if there's any key levels that are showing up on a 3. And I'm glad I did that on Palantir because, look, even if I go short now, where are we going to run into some trouble? Maybe we barcoded here for an hour and a half at 1720. So am I going to put a big amount of shares on here to make 3 or 4 pennies when if I'm wrong, it could just glide right back up to VWAP and lose those pennies back on the other side of this thing? So when you sort of zoom back out, it gives you sometimes that look that says, hey, unless we're up here and you're playing off of that level, maybe it's not worth it kind of playing in the middle right now of the range. So, like, you know, look at the bid ask here. Ask on this side. The supply is 5 times. Look, it adds it up here, 27 versus 6. You know, 4 or 5 times the supply on this side than that side, and still the market's just like, all right, we don't want to do anything. So let's look over at Tesla, a name that potentially could have movement in it. Down 1.2%, so that's nice. Under VWAP or at VWAP right now, and under the 200 period as well. So this name could get some juice. And actually, we just went up to that high spot again that we looked at, 251. This could be a good short, especially if the market pulls down in a little bit here. Problem is, obviously, we're at that key level of 250. Let me zoom into a 1-minute chart now to see if we get a little bit more love in Tesla. I hope I have a voice left for this podcast, by the way. I feel like I'm just like rambling and talking and talking. It's because there isn't much to do right now. Yeah, we could go short here. Do you want to take a short? I mean, not you, but just talking out loud and everybody in the crowd. Do we want to take a short here at 250.50? That could be something, right, for Tesla? Maybe the idea is, Obi, is that we put on, so like I'm just holding Intel right now, which has been pretty good. And thanks for the love on Fisker, guys. We are still holding that trade, and again, it's because it's doing this. What am I supposed to do in this instance? I mean, Fisker an hour ago, or sorry, at 11:05, that is 4 hours ago. Fisker was 176, now it's 180. Not much happening there for Fisker. But it's all about, for me, looking at names that are moving around, and maybe it is going to be Tesla breaking this 250 marker. Let's just take it. Let's take Tesla breaking 250, because that's the 50-period moving average, and we could try to give this 50 cents. Does that make any sense? Let's hope it makes 50 cents. All right, Tesla. Yeah, I mean, that's, I don't mean to be, you know, Dara is the pun one over there, but that was, yeah, you enjoyed it? Okay. You enjoy a lot of things, I noticed, Dara, by the way, which is good. I think That's it doesn't mean you're easy by any stretch of imagination, but easy with your flow, and that's the whole point there. The puns continue, and Obi, you're a good guy for puns.
I try. I mean, it's there sometimes. Sometimes it's not.
We are in
But,
Tesla now.
Yeah. What's happening with Tesla? 250?
I mean, it's just what we just talked about. Yeah, I think a 250 break makes sense to me. But yeah, and it's just during the midday show there. I sit here and I listen. I'm always chuckling. Like, there's always something that is said about any kind of name that we're trading. There we go. People like Nvidia. There it is. You see where Nvidia is?
Yeah, I'm a little involved, kind of.
Oh, you're involved. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Short?
No.
Oh, not good.
No, not good.
What is Nvidia doing for 47? Yeah.
Hush. Yeah.
So you see, we could have easily shorted Nvidia right there, and at O's, at 99s. You know, giving yourself $1 worth of room, there's $2 worth of risk. But again, that crystal ball, man, it's very, very hard to predict something in the market when you don't have all the information. All right. Let's see, where are we? All right. Will the NASDAQ touch 17K at some point today during the open market? Sometimes you have to be very specific because, you know, it touches it in the aftermarket and the 8-ball laughs at you after because it's like, I was right. Uh-oh, it says only if something. Only if Apple is negative. Okay, so that would make a little bit of sense. Let's go over and look at what Apple's doing right now as we will just trust on the 8-ball to give us all of the answers. So Apple's already negative, so there you go. So you can throw that 8-ball out. Shout out to D. Westermeyer who made that for us. It's a very cool, it's a very specific 8-ball. It gives us, sometimes it says stuff about what Neil says or what I say or Sharif and vice versa. So we'll find out about that. But hey, there's Apple right there underneath VWAP. We were waiting for a VWAP take on that one. Maybe the market does bleed down, Obi, the rest of the day. Are people profit taking here into the new year? That could be something. Nvidia, Tesla. Tesla's making the move a little bit, trying to. We're short Tesla. You're long Nvidia. Oh yeah, man, this is not going to work out
giving it some room there, but yeah, exactly. Giving it some room there, but again, I was a little too hasty on the long, but the flush does come in. We do break a little bit of a structure there on Nvidia underneath that 498. But again, like I said, I'm looking for a little bit of a move here, and if I don't get it, that's perfectly fine as well. But the market holding up on top of that 490. Sorry, that 17 thou, kind of trending slowly. We have been making higher highs and higher lows relatively, and the pullback, I'll give it some space. I'll give it about a point or so to kind of work there on Nvidia. Again, it's a $500 ticker, right? Yeah, my entry a little bit hasty, but I think the move potentially still has some potential there. Whether or not it comes in, I could be totally wrong. As of right now, I am pretty wrong on the ticker because again, got in at the wrong spot. But just looking for this move to kind of come into fruition. Let's see if it does or not. That 497, 498 level, pretty interesting on that shelf there. So we did kind of build up into it. A little too aggressive here on my part, but I'm willing to give it some room and let this work as the market kind of just chops around, still well within that same area here. I'm looking at Apple and Softy and Alphabet as well, kind of pushing back towards their highs also. So some strength across the board. Nvidia, a little bit of a pullback off that 500, but let's see how this strength upholds.
Okay, Scott, so I see what you're talking about there. And I mean, I was also talking about, we had Michael Noss talk about tax loss harvesting and all that kind of stuff earlier. I don't mean that people are going to be selling, positions to pay tax. Like it could be somebody that's maybe not even positive this year that has just really rode the last, couple days in the NASDAQ, to the upside. And maybe they've just been long in December and just want to get out before something potentially happens in January. I don't know. It doesn't mean that just because, you're harvesting tax wins when you are long and you've been, now Tesla wants to go. When you've been long and now you're like, oh, I want to reap the benefits. But there's some traders that maybe didn't have a great year and are just now trying to maybe take some profits in the month of December. I mean, this has been a crazy month for the NASDAQ here. Hold on, I'm gonna switch. I'm gonna switch all the charts here. As you can see with this move in a second when it loads up, top to bottom this month, I think in the NASDAQ alone, I mean, here it is right here. The triple Qs were roughly at 385 up to 410 right now. So if you're getting a little nervous that, hey man, maybe we're topped out again right now, maybe you do sell something into the close. That's kind of what I'm talking about, but all right, it looks like we may get, yeah, I'm hoping for a nice rally. And I mean, I'm hoping for something into the close. I know you have NVIDIA, which is really great. Tesla's trying to go upside a bit here, but we're not nervous hands because this is kind of like, we shorted it there. We don't have a big position, but I'm gonna put a little bit more on. I feel like I might be a moron shorting this, but we might put a little bit more on if this market continues to go a little bit higher into some levels of possible support, so or resistance in this case. So that's it right there. We just took a little bit more short, and yeah. And what might be the stupidest play again by me is trying to find something to trade. And you guys said it in the midday, when there's nothing to trade, maybe there's nothing to trade. And that might be the case right here. So we were always gonna use this 251 as sort of an out. I just thought that if we broke and continue to go lower, we'd be upset to not have taken this. So we'll take a little bit more up here, and then what is that high? 51's flats, 51. I don't even wanna play off that level right there. I was looking at that, but if we break through here, I feel like maybe just get out. That's 251.05. That level, how high up is that? 35s, yeah, too far up. So, okay, so we're gonna have to take some more averages in here, pretty close to 251, and then we got to give it up to like 251. Yeah, maybe we'll take some orders here and then give it up to 35. I don't know. We've had a great month. It's not like we're giving it all back, but we will be red because we've made a mistake on JP Morgan and then a mistake again here on Tesla. And then earlier on, we busted through on AMD, which did not work out for us. So yeah, just we have some wins on today, but not very many, as it's been just one of those days where you need not hold for big moves unless you were short during that morning move. So here we go. Tesla, I'm talking so negatively, I'm out 30 cents on Tesla. Like, it's just, this is how the market makes me feel right now. Not much happening, Obi.
Yeah, I got out of the Nvidia. A little bit of a mischief managed there. I was looking for a potential reversion of did you get that reference?
I did not.
Okay, I'm a little bit of a Harry Potter fan, but yeah, it's from there, the Marauder's map.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
When they close the map, the spell for closing the map is mischief managed.
I have a story about the map, but I'm going to think about what it is before I misspeak, because I see that you are a Harry Potter guy.
Yeah. Okay, sure. So I got out of Nvidia there, a little too hasty, but I was like, okay, well, if it's I was too hasty on this entry, and I'm like, okay, now we're getting a potential reversion as the behavior has changed. All the selling, I was there for it, I experienced it, I felt the sellers kind of push the position down because I entered too early. I'm like, okay, well, clearly not the right place. And then when it does set up the right way, I'm like, all right, this is the spot. I'm gonna add here on Nvidia on the 497 hold. Take a look at that. The 497 holds quite nicely, and I'm giving it a point or two to kind of work itself out. But take a look at this here, NVDA. But okay, so it comes right back into that consolidation and then instantly starts to stall. So I'm like, all right, well, that stall is a little bit of information for me, and I just want to piece out. I'm already in a position where the initial entry was not the best, and I held it almost a point against me, which was part of the plan, right? But then when it gives you that setup to come in, I wanna stay aggressive, I wanna stay involved, get some more, and then piece out into the 498 when there's no real follow through back into that level there. So let me just pull up the chart here and take a look at what we're talking about. So again, got a little lucky, of course. I didn't know it was gonna do this. This could have very well just slammed my face into VWAP down here, 495s, and I would have lost on the trade, and that's perfectly fine because I was giving it just around a point or two in and around some of these levels from before, right? Some of these pre-market levels are in and around here, 497. That was the place I should be risking here, right? So that's kind of support. That's where support has been all day. Support is down here as well, but in the pre-market there was support at that 496, 497 before we got that push into 500. So if we're getting that push again, once again into that 500, I'm potentially looking for some of these levels to hold, and they did. And I just want to piece it out into that 498 test, because if we don't kind of reclaim this range here right away, again, that's a little bit. I already fumbled the trade, so I have to be nimble on. I think I have to be nimble. I don't know. I don't know if that's the right way to take it.
What was the price?
So my initial long was what's this? You know what? Let me just check my list here. So the initial long was 27s. So 98.27. So a little too high, but getting in at the low of this consolidation, kind of where these higher lows are being made. So I'm like, all right, we'll take it here. But my mistake was not really reading the tape, right? I'm just like, okay, it's coming into this level. I like it on the chart, but I'm not really observing what the tape does, and the tape is clearly selling off of these highs. We just rejected 499 and change just a few pennies away from day high, and I get long on the first flush back down into the consolidation range. So definitely a mistake on my part, but again, knowing, we're observing how choppy and full of fugues Nvidia is and can be at times, you get that flush, you get that pop back in, you get the test of that consolidation range, and then the move kind of comes back in. So 498 was a decent reason to sell.
I have the Harry Potter story.
Yes.
Okay, so Peter Pettigrew, right?
Yes.
Was Ron's rat.
Yes.
Correct. Okay. So now, his twin brothers had the map.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
And Peter Pettigrew was a rat.
Yes.
That was
Significant name.
should be showing up on the map.
Yes.
So Ron slept with his rat every night.
Every day.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So how come the twin brothers never noticed, why is there a grown-ass man in our brother's bed every night?
Maybe you just want to give him some privacy.
No, and the reason why, maybe, but the thing is that I don't have any
He
problem
like
with
respect
it.
his space. I don't know.
The reason why I'm saying this is because the wife and I, she likes Harry Potter, and she goes, she was thinking about it. She must have probably read it somewhere online because they've been so good.
Yeah, it's a plot hole. I've heard this one before.
Oh, you have heard it before. Okay, so maybe you knew what I was getting at. Okay, so that's what it was, because apparently the Harry Potter series doesn't have too many holes at all.
Really?
You tell me, dude. I have no idea.
There's definitely
what's another one?
That was the main one. But
is there another one? People in the
that's
chat?
one that I've heard.
See, there you go. Jason didn't realize that. Now he's scarred for life.
Yeah.
You're welcome. I'm ruining it. What am I ruining?
People have answers to that.
Spoiler alert: Harry Potter, this brand new series just released.
Come on. If you haven't at least watched the movies, come on.
Anyways,
movies weren't too bad. Books.
Yeah,
that's usually the case.
Yeah, so that's what my wife. So we were when my kids were starting to learn how to read and everything like that. Harry Potter was one of those books that was either being read to them by myself or Marissa, and then they started reading them themselves. I
remember I used to be pretty crazy about it. Like I would wait in line for the new books to come out.
My wife got dressed up. I'm gonna ask her.
After I did start reading them, I think the 5th, 6th, and 7th books still had to come out. So I was waiting in line for each and every one of those, and kind of pretty much finished them within a day or two.
Wow.
Yeah,
good
I was
for you,
just
man.
like,
You're quite the reader.
I was more addicted than a reader. I was just like, this story's so wild. I got to know what happens next. So literally, there were days where from the time I woke up to the time I went to bed, pretty much that book did not leave my hand. But
sick.
Good times. I do the same with trading. So.
Yeah. Well, hey, that's what you're passionate about. Mr. Potter, and now you're passionate about trading, and that's absolutely great. So there we go. I hope that added a little bit of excitement and enjoyment to the afternoon.
We need some Wingardium Leviosa on these tickers.
Yes, I know what that means. That's a rise.
Oh, is it Leviosa?
Is that the light? Turn on the light, or?
It's the
levitating.
Yes.
My kids used to go to me. They had like a Harry Potter wand, and he's Guardian whatever it is. All right, so let's go. I don't need any levitation now. We are short. I'm the only one in position, so let's think that we go down here right now. What is the spell for like to hell with you? Because that's what I want to put on.
Avada Kedavra.
Abracadabra?
So you can say that. Avada Kedavra.
Avada Kedavra.
Yeah. That'll work.
Close enough. I don't feel like that's not going to work at all. But here we go. You know, the thing is like whenever I say this all the time, whenever you say, God, please help me, or you're looking for a higher power, whatever that may be, that's when you know you're in a bad trade. You know, because
you're holding and hoping.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's false hope. You know, at the end of the day, when you're expecting a higher power to somehow affect your stock that you're in. This is the long version. There we go. We have now been blessed with presence here today. The presence of a higher power is now here, and hopefully taking this market. Look at this. Everybody absolutely loving this in the chat. Thank you so much. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe. I mean, that's why I'm trying to add a little bit to the show here, right? So hit the like, hit the subscribe, and please, if you think this is funny, I mean, I'd love to do the podcast with Obi as well. Hopefully one day we'll be able to do that. Right now we're just building the podcast. We're going to find the right format. We're going to find, guests, how this works out. But for right now, it's going to be me and Brendo live. Well, we film it tonight. Oh yeah, by the way, we may have to adjust this because the market recap show is just so damn popular, but it does not exist on Fridays because we film and record the podcast. So do not join me tonight for market recap at 4 o'clock. But join me right now because here comes Tesla. And again, whatever that little spell was, my friend, may have just worked out. But I did not get filled because why? I'm bidding 90s. And you know where Tesla just stopped at? 90s to the exact penny. I'm like, oh my God, maybe I should pull this. But no, it literally stopped at our level, right? Look at that, 90. Look at that on the chart, stops at 90. And I was only trying to take 20 pennies on a little piece of this thing. But again, look what discipline and patience brings you, okay? We always, and you guys that watch this, VWAP is the thing for me. We do like the 50-period moving average as well. And I'll talk about that. That's more for retracement plays. Thank you.
Oh my God.
The 250.
We got a fill. Oh my God. So there it is. There's a nice little fill there as, yes, sir. Oh, we get the fill and it comes. All right, so we got out 15%. Every single one of these tranches now will probably be about 20%. I'm not going to do that 10, 10, 10 thing. The market right now is just, it's not really moving. So if there is going to be a flush, I'd feel silly just getting out of a piece here, a piece here, a piece here, a piece here. So we'll wait to see if we do get that move into 17,000 like I thought maybe we could get. We just touched 1713 again. So that's a decent level. And again, I feel like I'm learning more and more about my own style of trading and what this market really wants to give us, Obi, because instead of trading equity, I should have traded futures. Because if the market's not going to really do anything, put some money into the futures so that if you do get a move down, your profits are going to be accelerated and your losses would be as well. So it goes both ways. But it's like looking at the NASDAQ right there, that's not that it's a good level, but you can play these ranges back and forth when you're looking at a stock maybe like a Tesla right here, where I guess if you'd waited for that, fine, that would have been good. But there's another take right there. And I'm not even making that much because I started the move there. So it just goes to show you if you were patient enough, and right now that would have been a 50-cent win and I might have taken it all out. But for right now, taking 20 cents on Tesla, you and I both know that we can get a lot more out of that name than 20 cents. So let's see if we can do that. Are you wetting the beak again? People are asking about Nvidia because it's back down to 497.
No, I'm pretty much done with it. It pretty much showed me that it doesn't want that 499 and change. That's kind of the area there. And while I was kind of doing that, and that dump kind of happened, the trade that I did want on Amazon comes in. We were looking for that 152 to come in off of a VWAP risk around 153.60s, or sorry, was it 152.60s here, right here. So take a look at that, 152.60s in and around that area. Support, turn of resistance, confluence with VWAP. Market does a little bit of a pullback, and yeah, so I was thinking about it, I was mulling it over. I'm like, oh, okay, this deserves about 20 to 30 pennies of risk here. What can I size into this? It's the end of the day. Volume's kind of, it's there at times, it's not there, but we're choppy, right? We've had that strong sell in not really in the midday, but in the morning session as that sell comes in at 10:30, and then we've reverted. We've only reverted since that's 11:30. So that flush last lasts for about an hour there, and then an hour flush. Wow! And then we consolidate, and a nice little clean move back up. The reversion on the futures definitely much cleaner than the rest of these names here. But if you're talking about Nvidia, of course, the Nvidia reversion was absolutely crazy. Softy as well. Softy pretty wild. You can see the NQ and the ES reverted about 50% of their move there. But Softy and Nvidia both very, very different here. So we got a flush of about 3.5 points ish, give or take. On Softy, yeah, 3.6, and then you got that reversion was also about 3.3. So you got almost above an 80% reversion for sure on some of these names. Nvidia as well, even closer of a reversion as we only come in about 20, not even 20. Was it 20 pennies or within the dollar, right? Within the dollar, we come into 99s. The high is right. So 99.50s is the high of this top, and the high of the morning top is 99.98s. So about a 48 penny difference between this top and this top that we've so far made on the day. So the reversion has been very, very strong on some names. Now, if you take a look at a name like Apple, not really looking the same. If you take a look at a name like Amazon, same thing, not really looking the same there. So you can definitely kind of judge relative weakness and relative strength with a little bit of that how well it's how would I say it, beta'd up, how well it's following the beta move off of these futures here. So Softy and Alphabet as well. I guess Softy, Nvidia, and Alphabet, Google over here kind of not really retracing the whole move, but definitely a lot more than the others. We talked about that VWAP consolidation breaking through in and around 3 going into power hour, and we've only consolidated above that consolidation from before. So a little bit of a stair step, and yeah, this is pretty much, like I said before, we're pretty much going to close where we opened here. So haven't really moved too far in terms of a daily perspective, right? We can take a quick look at the day. And again, it is the last day of the year, so wouldn't it be befitting to kind of look at how we've done on the year on some of these names as while some of these trades kind of set up. Like I said, missed a trade there, 152, I was looking for that. Potentially missed a trade as it does a 15 penny bounce, but that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for at least a nice little flush down to the holes. That's 152 from up here from the half. So that's what I was looking for. We already got that. That's a missed trade for me. I got to do much better on getting involved with some of my trade ideas, but it is what it is. Let's take a quick look at the Mag 7 and what they've done this year, right? So we talk about how they were pretty strong. Apple started off the year at year lows. Actually, you know what? Let's take a look at a 12-month candle. So here's the thing. I know a lot of people don't really do this, but here is a 12-month chart, a 12-month candle on Apple, and you can see a little bit of a 3-bar push. So we're a little strong. That may or may not show some strength. Let's take a quick look at Google as well. Kind of a choppy range, but pretty strong as we wiped a good part of 22 back this year, right? So 21 was hot, 22 was not. In terms of the downside, kind of came in, wiped that whole bar, and we get that nice wipe back. So bigger picture, potential consolidation on the 12-month chart here on a lot of these equities. Let's take a look at our friend Amazon as well. Oh boy, take a look at that. That looks nice. But a little bit of toppy action at that 188. But a nice strong build as well. What's the name I'm forgetting? Nvidia, of course. Nvidia, kind of the leader of the strength this year off of those AI news. And take a look at this 3-bar. Oh boy, did we really break out? This breakout price being 345. And you know what? I'm curious to know in which month did we break that 345? Okay, so June. So mid-year. Around mid-year, May, June was when that top was broken, and we've held above those tops, kind of pushing into
that
highs.
was that May quarter we talked about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's been a pretty strong year, and Apple as well, kind of pointing out this distinct kind of action here, bit of a chart pattern flag showing up on a longer time frame. You know what? Let me pull up the weekly. It's a little bit better. Daily's not too bad either. But yeah, take a look at this. A little bit of a flag breakout there. Continue for the continuation move. We came all the way up from was it sub 100? No, that was before the split or post split. Yeah, post split, that was in 21. But this year itself, lows being at 125s, and this kind of consolidation flag happening over previous highs as well before we break out. And this is in and around this point. I kind of observed when we did break this multi-month, multi-week, yeah, I was going to say multi-year, but that's not multi-year. Multi-week flag here. Take a look at the buying that comes in very aggressively, and I think if we look at some of how I think a lot of people were sitting on shorts earlier on in the year, right? Because last year was pretty red, and they were like, how much more can this year go back up? There's no way we're going to wipe all of last year, and that's exactly what we did, especially with Nvidia leading the way on a lot of this strength this year. So it's been a pretty solid 12 months. All you had to do was buy in January.
Yeah, that's all.
Buy low, sell high is what I've heard. How true is that?
Very. You just got to try to master that plan, and that's the hard part, Obi. It's never hard to do something that makes sense. It's hard to execute it sometimes because you don't believe in it.
I'm trying to get better with that.
We all are, and that's the whole point of what we're doing right here, right now. Okay. Someone just asked, and we're gonna give a couple picks later on for what is going to be. Someone just said in the chat there, what do you and I or whoever in the chat wants to participate in this as well? Maybe let's put some. I mean, we could put some names in the chat right now. I mean, this is gonna be the last trading day of the year. The podcast is gonna focus a little bit on year-on review and maybe what is possibly gonna pop in the next coming year. And someone just said, what is going to be, and you just talked about NVIDIA, what is going to be 2024's NVIDIA? I think maybe NVIDIA could be. Yeah, I don't think NVIDIA, I don't think it will pop.
Showing its head.
Yeah, another 250%. But there is a lot of stats out there that this year we only had 2.4 of the S&P 500. I think we're up 2.4%, we're up over 100%. So that doesn't happen very often. And you're not going to get names that are ripping and rocking too much. But you know what? I don't know if Eli Lilly is going to continue doing what exactly it's been doing. Okay, but this stock was also kind of like an Nvidia this year, where we started the year down here at 300 to close the year at 600. So here's one of those names that almost went up. It didn't quite go up that much because it's not even part of the 100% club. But I do worry, again, you're starting to sort of barcode out a little bit here. I don't know, I can't remember the exact name of the drug because there's so many different ones. But what really caught me, and I said this to Brendan, and maybe we'll talk about this on the podcast there. First of all, let's go and Tesla. Hopefully this gets to the downside, dude. I'm bidding also again at the same spot that we were at last time, just to get another piece out. Is that, this drug with controlling, again, it was diabetes, obesity, and also a big one to me too would be addiction control as well, right? And so again, I'm not by no means a doctor, although my handwriting, some people say, is ridiculous, just like a doctor's, is that this has a good chance, I feel like, again, get some more FDA approvals, and I have to look to see what's going on in the pipelines and stuff, but this name could bounce as well. There's Novo Nordisk, a couple different things, and that's why I really feel like an ETF that people may want to look at is this XLV, which is the healthcare ETF. So, some good potential in this one. And if you zoom this back out, there's ways to go on this. And it looks like it's trying to bump its head off of a very, very key level here as well. Trying to break through this 135 up to 140 and then moon from there. And we'll show some more charts and things like that. But I kind of like XLV here. You just saw there it was starting to go. XLV still has some movement. So you're trying to clear through some of this levels. Sometimes it's good to look back on weekly charts and things like that. Obviously, as an ETF, it's pretty choppy. But I like healthcare. I like Eli Lilly. I think that has a good chance to go. I know Neil said ARM, but that forward PE to me is a little bit spicy to me. I don't know if I really like that. So yeah, I would say Eli Lilly maybe has a good chance of doing something this year with approvals and things like that. And then, not to talk about my own book, because I own pretty much every single stock. But if big data is going to be a thing, and we're going to get a little bit more efficient on all of this, then how about a look at Palantir? Palantir doesn't even, it's at $17 today. It was $22 a couple weeks ago. So all it has to do is sort of get going with this market, and right there, you just get back to 22 bucks, then right there, that's 30% from where we are right now. So I think Palantir does have a good chance. The other one right there, I just saw SoFi. That could be something as well. You know, again, talking about SoFi and the student loan repayment program and things like that. Remember when we talked about Palantir? I'll give you a shot. Think about a name, Obi. Maybe you already have one. Remember when I was like, oh, Palantir, we want to short this name into 720. Well, it's there right now. So we only had to wait about an hour for this thing to move down. Meanwhile, let's go Tesla, as we have this name, now 50 cents in the money. See if we can get this to go to the downside, and let's just go a little bit right now and see if we can drop down some cash, as that's what we're making right now on Tesla. Nice move back in. It's bouncing off the 200. We have to take a piece out right now on that, so we'll bid 79 and get run over as soon as we do it, but that's good. I can't complain about getting a fill when I put the order out. So there it is right there. Nice little move to the downside here for Tesla. So I hope you have this one with me. Not to say anything about your position there, Scott H., but the market is still flat. And we'll see what it wants to do. And meanwhile, we are still short right now Intel, which we just took a little bit more out as well. So back-to-back short jacks right now, and we'll see if it can win. You like any names in this new year?
Yeah, so again, I understand the value that, the potential fundamental value that Palantir has, but as you know, like I don't know too much about fundamentals, but when I hear Palantir, it reminds me of a lot of the other runners that it came out with during COVID. So I think again 2020 and 2021 Palantir had some crazy moves, and again there was a lot of hype and buzz about this name, again being at the right place at the right time. I think, wasn't Palantir a SPAC as well? I think so. Palantir might have been a SPAC. No, it was an IPO. It was an IPO.
Direct list.
Okay, all right. So yeah, so in and around those times where tickers were getting those crazy moves. So other names that I can think of right off the top of my head are Carvana and Zoom.
Okay.
Right. So we can take a look at Zoom.
Don't mind that
again.
Zoom call.
Zoom is yeah, nice. I like that. Zoom is again, it's so funny kind of thinking about this. I had friends who were literally putting their life on the line, kind of backing for this name, because they were like, oh, this name's only gonna go up. We're going to 1,000. This is like the next Apple, Tesla. I'm like, all right, buddy, let's see. They were at the right, they pretty much do what Skype does, right? And the chart speaks volumes.
And Skype doesn't exist anymore.
No, it does. People still use it, but
it's called Microsoft Teams.
Microsoft Teams, yeah. So that's being used a lot more. But yeah, take a look at this. It kind of falls right back in, nice little flush, and consolidating. So that's not a bad look here. Kind of holding on to this $60 mark.
I like that.
There on Zoom, and it's come from quite a ways. So I know people who went long and swung this name into the highs, and kind of some which held it back down, but some took their profits. And I know people who kind of took the swing short off the 500, off the 400, off the 350, off the 320, off the 420. But you know what? Like it's kind of holding on to this base. So we talk about tickers that have sold off massively and can't really sell off anymore. They have all the bad news kind of in them. So looking for any sort of pops on any sort of news now is kind of what I'm looking at on the Zoom chart here. Now we haven't really had anything significant in all of 2023, so I don't really have it on my radar. But if and when we start getting this kind of push back up through this 80, through this 90, through this 100, and this 120, I think Zoom might be a decent look. But the trend is definitely very, very clear here as we've sold off of these ridiculous highs, in my opinion. But it's just a supply-demand thing. There was enough demand, and the supply was scarce enough that price kind of rocketed up into that 600, but then all those buyers eventually become sellers, and I think Carvana kind of a similar story here, but looking a little bit better than Zoom and some of the other tickers as well. As we did have that bottom where a lot of the volume was out. You look at this high volume bar right here in and around that $12 mark, so a lot of volume went in on this kind of break, and then we've been starting to see that turn back up, a slow little bit of a curl. So potential for I don't know how many people do this anymore, but swing shorts getting a little, or starting to potentially get a little sweaty there. Again, I think a lot of people will kind of swing short if they have the perks to kind of not swing with fees, or if they can figure out the business plan and be like, all right, this is still cost effective even if we hold the borrows to hold this down to zero, right? There's different ways you can kind of do that. But
I like those calls.
Definitely players offside is what I'm getting
Did your friends
at,
make
right?
money on that Zoom, or they got it?
On the longs or the shorts?
Well,
both ways.
Both ways. Okay,
both ways.
good,
But
yeah.
some who have held back down, kind of holding and hoping, not so much. Let's just say that.
And what?
You get a taste of a little bit of everything.
There we
You
go.
know,
Got to
so.
hit that button there. AMC could go. You know what? I was actually looking.
AMC GME.
I was actually looking at the lineup for movies this year. I think there was a pretty good. I think there was some pretty decent ones. Ghostbuster 4.
Yeah. Oh, I just recently watched that.
Beverly Hills
Ghostbuster.
Cop, I think, is another one that's coming through. The thing about Ghostbusters, I was just kind of joking about that one. I haven't even seen the last couple ones there. There was the all-female one, and then I think the last one might have even had Bill Murray in it, which
Yeah, no,
means
that's the one.
should watch
I watched that. I think this
Is he any
past
good in it?
weekend.
I love that
He shows up for a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
not too much of a major role. They show up.
Damn,
The team shows up like near later on in the movie. Let's just say.
Okay,
that.
okay. I won't be watching it, so you don't have to ruin it.
Okay, well, yeah.
Anyway, it doesn't matter.
not
We don't
bad.
want to ruin it for
It was-
everybody
it
else
was
like I
fun.
did the Harry Potter plot to everybody there, apparently. So, yeah, and there was Kung Fu Panda 3 or something. I don't know. There was some decent ones coming through there. But, okay, so what was the other one, did you say? Oh, I thought Fabian had said something else. What about AMC? Let's have a quick look at that one. This is always a name that people, and we know Michael Noss absolutely hates it. I keep seeing that guy putting up stuff about AMC, and why not? I mean, some of these reverse splits and things like that, and AMC getting down to $1. Now it's essentially 61 cents. I mean, this thing got down to $1 and then reverse split back to the upside. So, yeah, it was 10-1, I believe. So that's why I'm calling it 60 cents. And again, this is like when you go to a concert and then there's 50 cents and then 10 cents more, you get 60 cents. So right now, we're going to find out about where AMC can go. Not a great one. GameStop possibly. There's the GTA. Is it 5 or 6 right now? I think we're waiting for 6, right?
Yeah.
That's going to come out. I could see that kind of sparking a
That
little.
looks pretty awesome. I don't know.
But I think that's near the end of the year. Yeah. So GameStop could have some catalysts.
Did you know it takes place in Vice City?
Oh, it does?
Yeah, we were talking about this when it first came out, and remember I was like, oh, the last game I played
too.
was Vice City,
Yeah.
and sure, the GTA 4 and the stuff came out. I played a little bit, but I didn't really get involved. But the one I did play a couple of times, start to finish, was Vice City, and this one takes place in Vice City. So
Cool.
I think that's definitely gonna be interesting, and kind of a little bit of a reminder. Plus, much better graphics, much better kind of.
I think I was playing on a PS3. Does that make sense? The last Vice City, probably. Probably.
Yeah, maybe.
Because I didn't have. Baxter had a PS4.
Yeah, no,
right?
PS3 sounds right, because I think I remember playing the GTA
It might
2
be PS2. I don't even.
on PS2. Grand Theft Auto
probably check
2.
that out.
Yeah.
GTA.
Not a bad game.
Anyways, I was just thinking about some catalysts, right? Because when you're trying to make picks for the new year and stuff like that, it's nice to get a couple catalysts to come through. All right. Well, we did it. So pat on back a little bit. Tesla did make that move that we sort of all thought, or I thought anyways, and was hoping for. I guess we didn't. I mean, if I didn't think it, I probably wouldn't have put it on. We've had some bad trades too. It's not like this is going to be the greatest trade of all time here, but there it is. So we got the VWAP back to the 200. Like, that is what it's about for me. You know, you take the VWAP and you get it back in. So we have a couple outs right there. We actually still have 50% of the position because greed is good. And I'm trying to get this out at 50s now. So I do have another bid. Maybe now we're being a little foolish because honestly, what's the difference when you're talking about 5 cents? Not much. So potentially here, if it's just going to cruise like this, I still feel like we could be a little bit more patient and wait for that. That 50 period was 75, so that's where we got, or sorry, the 200 period, so that's where we got a lot out. Let's just, there it is. Money, 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 money. Damn, Daniel, this stock is actually going down. So here we go. And why did we pick on Tesla? It's actually pretty simple for me, man. And sometimes you say, keep it simple, stupid. Yesterday, this is what Tesla did, and it started in the afternoon. So this guy was just like, maybe it starts again. We had VWAP, we had this level there, we talked about that. I think it's well worth it. We didn't have the proper risk to hold it all the way up there. We sort of talked about debating that. So we don't, you know, we got a good amount of shares because it went back up to VWAP, but it's this early entry. And again, I want to thank everybody in the chat. Like they're talking about like, thanking you and I, Obi, both, of course, and Neil, I mean, everybody, every part of Adara, Sharif, it doesn't matter. If you're part of the family, you're part of the family, that's what it is. But for all the lessons that we keep on teaching everybody, and then they can't believe that it's completely for free. Well, guess what? Next year, it's all pay service. No, it's not. It's going to be free next year as well. But
I'm not teaching anything. I'm learning a lot more.
Oh, shut up. You're teaching a lot.
No, I don't think so.
All right, let's go over and handle some business. Why you guys are free.
Brought to you by IG.com. Trade Forex pairs like Euro USD with spreads as low as 0.8 pips and zero commissions at IG. Terms and conditions apply.
0.8 pips. You know what? I think... Okay, we're getting close now. I was going to say, I think Tesla actually flashed down to 249 there.
Oh, no way.
So I'm going to put a bid. Because
That's a real print?
Yes, sir. Well, it doesn't matter. At this point, whatever. We're so close to that anyways. I am not going to put a bid. What? It's 3:44. Okay. I did not realize the time. I mean, when you're having fun, Obi, this is what happens. There it is right now. You know what club we're in, Obi? You tell me.
Dollar.
Correct. We were in there a while ago, but now it's $1.32 right now in the money on this Tesla trade. So now I don't feel okay. You know what? Now that I see where the time is, and we do have the imbalances coming out, the imbalances could come extreme to one side or the other today because this is year end. So will there be some rebalances happening? Oh yeah, we can have an early look. So let's do that right now. Let me see what Brendan put in there. What? Why? Oh my God, I've been so distracted I didn't even see this. It was $2.5 billion to buy. Yeah. It's a good thing I didn't see that, actually, because I'm only short, and I might have been like, oh, maybe we have to get out a little bit earlier. But look, this is what's matched up so far on the NYSE. These are big, big, big. Like, sometimes we don't see this, like HD, 2 million shares times 400. Like, this is why it's that big to buy. 2 million shares times $350, you know, right there. That's a big account. TRP as well that's only $40. But again, still 2 million times it. Verizon, 2 million times that. You know, this could be a nice, oh, is that lithium? LTHM?
I haven't heard that name.
I don't think so. LTHM.
Oh, it is.
Is it Lithium America? Am I wrong on that? Yeah. No, Live End Corp. No, it's not. LTC or LIT. But anyways, that's not a big one. But just saying, that's the sell right there to the downside. What is RPT? Ooh, this one's moving around. Now, there could be some index action as well happening today. So this could be what RPT is. But anyways, in just a couple minutes, we will get the NASDAQ cracking on here. And then when that happens, then you're going to see some excitement. And hopefully we will see some Tesla excitement as right now. Oh, there it is. We got it. So we did get that bid down there at 249. So right now, all is well in the Katina household. And yeah, my wife's Ubering down here. We have some good plans tonight. We're going to go to the Travis Scott concert, and then we're going to go to dinner first. That should be fun. And then New Year's probably just hang out. My parents, unfortunately, were feeling a little under the weather during the holidays, and it was just decided by all, that was just my pen, oh thanks Obi, decided by all to maybe take it easy. And so we'll be seeing them either tomorrow or Sunday when we pick up the kids. I think tomorrow, and we should have a nice little holiday party then. And then for New Year's, I'm not sure what we'll do. What are you doing?
I got some family coming over tomorrow. I'm going to have some dinner, maybe watch a movie, and just chill out and spend some family time, I think, over the weekend.
Good.
So that's what I got. But I just want to make sure we get this super chat here. Monty G saying, Happy New Year, everyone at Trader TV Live. Thanks for a great year. Be safe, and you are all loved. You are loved, Monty G. And thank you everybody in the chat. Again, it's a lot of fun here. We have a great time, reading all the comments, the jokes, the recommendations, and everything in the chat. I think it's a solid community. And I've been watching again, coming in early and doing the show. A lot of people are active in the chat very, very early on in the day. So it's actually like a pretty decent chat room in the mornings, dude. And then it gets a little crowded later on. But yeah, in the morning, some decent conversations happening, and I was just observing over the past couple of times there. So pretty solid community, and yeah, I just want to say thank you guys as well.
All right, with 348, I mean, Tesla now just broke through 249, so this is a good trade here for sure. Thanks to Chuck for options. He'll be here next year. I hope everybody's here next year. It was a big year for us, and it's going to get bigger and better. I mean, we started this up just by trying to teach, right? I mean, obviously, the #1 sponsor here is Day Trade the World, and we've launched the campus program this year, and hopefully more to come with including options in the new year, which I've been told. I was told late December, but hopefully then I was told into the new year. So we'll hold out for hope on that. Not hope, it is going to happen, but we hope it happens sooner rather than later. And then hopefully crypto, with spot crypto on our platform. So no longer having to worry about me watching GBTC and wondering why Bitcoin's ripping and it's not, things like that. So we should be able to trade live Bitcoin, live Ethereum, and pretty much the top 25 or so coins. We're just setting it up. There's issues because we're a prop floor, so you got to worry about clearing and all that kind of stuff. So there are some stuff there, but hey, that's not my problem nor yours, and we will figure that out at some point. Here we go. It is now 8 seconds away from possible anarchy, honestly, in this market here. So we're still short Intel, which is printing, and we are short. What just happened right there?
Wow, nice.
Wow. Dish Network. Oh yeah, are they a buyout? Addition and delete. Okay, I just heard Wayne mention that, so thank you for that one. So there's Dish Network. Look at that gapper downside there with 8 milli to go. I'll wait for Brendan there. 3.1 to buy, so it stays bid side. Apple bid. Big bid for Apple. Look at that, man. Spiked it up $1 and almost 70 cents up there, then comes right back down in. We'll see if that was real or not. Probably was. Home Depot does. Wasn't that no, that was a buy. So it stays a buy. So again, look at that. Look at that movement, man. If you just took Home Depot because Obi and I showed you this, then boom, that's a great one. Sometimes they don't stick around, which is the problem. Verizon also stays a buy. That doesn't move. I'm not seeing anything else on here. Ford's had quite the nice move off of 7 up to 12, not moving. Oh, there's your Amazon. Again, kind of up and then down again, so not much happening right there. It doesn't look super interesting to me right now, but I guess it was the Apple trade that was real. I'm just going to call, was that actually happen on eSignal, that up and down move? Yes, it did. Wow. So here's another chart program for you right here. Here's eSignal showing you that 193.10 print matching ours. Sometimes our platform will quote deprints and others will sort of filter them out, which is why I'm always a little bit skeptical sometimes, but there it goes right there. Apple did, now I can't move this chart. Go? Oh no. All right, well now I got to figure this out. As you can see, there's some sort of a problem here now that I've created for myself. So I'm just going to do that, and hopefully my whole program does not freeze up. But there you go, Apple to the upside right now on that move, and there's the imbalances. I hope everyone's enjoying themselves. I know who's not, people that are long Tesla, as that just made a move back in. Let's just get this out if we take out 20s. Okay, 249.20. So I don't even have a stop order in for this because everything happened too quickly. 249.31.
Nice.
Let's go. We're ready to rock and roll here, and that's going to be a good trade to end the day, Obi. Sure. Intel also 25 cents in the money right now as well. Let's put a bid right there and get out some 25s. For Intel, nice move in for Intel as well. So we only held 2 shorts. We did get washed out on JP Morgan, and by washed out I just meant we got stopped out right there. Too many hits on JP Morgan. It never really came back in, so kind of glad we were able to get out of that one. But the 2 names that we were holding into the close are such. And Fisker, no workout, our last 15% there. So we'll have to get out of that one now, as I might just punch this 75 halves or so right there. Did we even get 74 or 75? We'll double check it. But I'm just going to punch out right there now. I think we got 74 half. I always use Here at Day Trade the World, we have access to over 70 gateways, which I know that sounds crazy, but there's so many dark pools and things like that. And when you have a big quality name like a Fisker doing, I don't mean quality as in the stock, but doing a lot of volume, there's going to be dark pools that you can match. So let me tell you the price that I got exactly there. 174.33 was the blended price on the punch out. So I didn't even get half, so I got worse than that. But just something to talk about right there. And the market is going to close, hopefully, soon. I was going to say, where's the market going to close here for the NASDAQ? It looks like it's going to be red. So the Santa Claus rally does take a little bit of a, you mentioned today, I guess it was someone in the chat, Obi, that said that it's bringing a red bag or something today.
Yeah,
and it looks,
as soon as the market dumped, somebody was like, Santa brought a red bag. I was like, yeah, that's pretty funny.
so we were celebrating the $1 club, Obi, and now it looks like we can probably get a $2 club winner here
nice.
on Tesla as it's coming right back in here into 248. So yeah, I thought it was well worth the risk. Did our ARM trade work out? We didn't take it, but no. So I'm kind of glad that we stayed away from ARM. We talked about a barcode. I mean, I didn't here, but that's okay. We didn't really lose anything. Talked about a barcoding. I was thinking about that break. That didn't happen, and I was also thinking about that break, and that didn't happen. So I'm glad I didn't think about it too much because that would have been a waste of my time. So, all right, 3.1 billion to buy into the close. The market seems to be relatively muted right here.
Yeah, nothing too crazy here that I have on my radar. Just watching some of this. I did pull up Dish as it was one of the larger kind of imbalances right here, as you can see, almost 5.9, and take a look at that. It just doubled up. I just said 5.9, and it goes up to 8.2 on Dish, kind of almost a 50% increase. And take a look at that Amazon kind of dumping as well. So maybe a little bit of a market flush alongside a lot of these names. Apple was up here too. What's Apple doing? Apple's a 1 million sell. I'm just going to keep this up here for now. But yeah, straight quadunking into the close on the last day of the trading, on the last trading day of the year. That's what I'm trying to say.
And there's that rhetoric that I was talking about. People were asking what we thought was happening. I thought we could have a sell-off into the close. So let's slap it up a little bit there. Yeah, it's violent there into the close. So again, I hope everyone's enjoying themselves and didn't hold on to too many longs, hoping for that bump there at the end of the day. 3:55. Kat will be on the bell today to end the year. It's been a while, so Kat will be on there to end out the year today for us, and she's working hard back there, so thank you to Kat. Thank you to everybody that's been watching us this year. We've had a great year. Can't believe Tesla is now $2. I just put a bid at 248. Hopefully that'll come through. We now have 4 minutes left right now as we hit it here. And if you're watching, we can do this. It's 3:56:02 in lovely Toronto, Ontario, Canada. 3:56:05 right now as we go. So if you are a little bit behind the stream, that's what time we are live right now here in Toronto. You can always hit refresh. We stream completely live. No speed bumps or anything. Whatever YouTube does, they do. So that's what we're doing right now. And Intel, by the way, also making that move. We've already captured this profit. What a good short on Intel. You know what? I've sort of secretly mentioned, not secretly, mentioned all the time, that Intel has kind of been a great stock for me recently. I know Neil gets a lot of, I don't know why, a lot of talk there about Intel. He likes that name. We're both investors and we both like to trade it. So that makes sense. But Intel, definitely a money maker for this guy. And there we go. Let's take a piece out there at 18, and here it comes now, down in, as you see the prints going off on the time and sales. There's the fill now on Intel, and another good one there. Did we get that Tesla? No, we did not get that out. 248, man, just bounced off that. We were waiting for that clean. Maybe we get a little whoosh down there and then we'll be able to get it. But Happy New Year to everybody, man. And, you know, best of luck to everybody. Whatever you're doing tonight or tomorrow and through this week, make sure you do it safely and make sure you do it with the ones that you love. That way it will be a guaranteed success. So thank you, everybody, for watching. And there it is, man. Shout out to the Crow. 2024 is going, I don't want to say it's going to be my best net year ever for trading, but I'm going to try to get it to that. I feel really confident about a lot of the things that I'm doing now, and I'm very, very excited for the year of 2024. And I'm excited for you too, because you're going to graduate, and that's going to be absolutely fantastic. And the sky is the limit, not only for you, but for the show and for everybody out there. So thank you for supporting us. Make sure you check the podcast tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you. I'd also like to wish you all a happy new year. And yeah, next year, got some goals set, got some plans in.
Give me one of those goals.
Sizing relative to risk.
Good.
And having an actual structured plan, because like I take a lot of trades where I'm still learning, right? Over time, I'm like this one is a lot more confluence. These factors, I've taken this trade multiple times over and over again, so I can be giving this a lot more risk relative to or a lot more size.
I'm just watching this Tesla trade, but I am listening to you.
A lot more size given the risk that it actually deserves, right? Not the risk that I want to give it, but the risk the trade actually deserves. So I think a big part of 2024 for me will be actually taking the trade.
No. I'm not doing anything.
To fairly put that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, hey, part of it is pulling the trigger.
Yeah.
And we talked about that yesterday with Neil. It's like you can put whatever the heck you want on the sticky note. The other day we had Coinbase on there. It went to 180. We had the blast through 180. We didn't take it. So then it's nice that you pointed it out. But if you don't take the trade, then I feel like you're just like a talking head again. So I feel like that's important, man. Trust in the trades. Trust in what you're doing, and yeah. And if you fall on your damn head like I did this today on AMD, you just get back up.
Yeah.
And you try again, and that's very important. So thank you, Obi. But with only limited time left, unfortunately, this Tesla is just dancing at this level. So I'm just going to put a bid out here at 47. Oh no! This is not going to happen to me at the end of the year. I'm just going to punch. It is happening to me. Again, because I put. Okay, we'll get out of 70. I could have just punched like 50s there. Instead, I tried to bid. Countdown, Cat. We're almost getting ready right now. As we're ready to rock and roll, the bell is about to go. I have the countdown on right now with only, there it is. Now we're 10 seconds away. So here we go. There she is. Hey, Cat, how are you doing? I like that look right there. Only 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right. Happy New Year to absolutely everybody out there. It was a good year, man. It was a really successful one. Not the greatest year for me net-wise, positive one, but we'll try to add to that. I said like I wanted to have my best year ever, but I'm thinking like Bitcoin year. I think 2020, into COVID a little bit before COVID, 2019, I'll have to look at what my best year was, but it was definitely trading some of those aggressive names back then, even the GBTCs of the world and things like that when Bitcoin really started pumping. So we had some really great trades back then as well. And then the Tesla rebalance into the NASDAQ 100 was a monstrous trade as well. We keep talking about that back and forth, but I really feel like, and this is why you need to start taking some risk, I used to take a lot of risk, like when I was a wee one, right? And now, not as much craziness, like closing trades and stuff like that, but if those return, I think 2024 could be absolutely monstrous as well. So
there's been some decent closes, but they don't.
Oh, yeah.
From the stories I've heard, nothing really comparable to what would happen, I guess, before. But you can probably speak more on that.
The problem with me is I probably speak too much. So, all right, we'll talk more about that. Hey, you want more stories? We're going to have them. Coming up right now is going to be the podcast. We're going to film it. You guys are going to watch it tomorrow. Make sure you go immediately right now to all of the podcast providers. Type in Trader TV Live. Find it, bookmark it, follow it. Tell it to download the latest episode because it's going to be a banger. Our one last week set records for us, and this week is going to smash those as well. So we're really excited for that. And that's it. I want to thank a big thank you this year to Bears vs. Bulls. Okay, because it's
putting in the work.
Putting in the work, and it's just moderating is tough to do because you don't know if you want to banhammer people, and you got to like watch out for comments, and he has to be on the ball. You and I can go for a walk and chill out and do whatever. So shout out to you, Bears vs. Bulls, man. And, we're going to take care of that guy. And he's been absolutely amazing. So a big shout out to that. Big shout out to you, Obi. I mean, over the month of December, we sure as heck had a lot of days off, and I want to thank you for covering for us as well.
Thank you for having me. I mean, it's been a pleasure, and like I say, yeah, it's been a lot of days, but I value each and every one of them, because, as you know, sitting up here, I've said this before, I think I got the best seat in the house. I'm learning from some of the most experienced traders on the floor, and I have learned a lot from both of you, just trading over your shoulder, pretty much, right? And I think that's
props
absolutely huge.
So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh, I have news for you. I really love your coffee heater.
Yes.
But I haven't been able to find a place to plug it in because all the plugs under my desk are all used.
We can figure that out.
So that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure it out. Haven't had the time, but thank you so much for that gift. That was really kind. And then look at this. This is up right now. I want to put this on the tree, but the tree is coming down, so I'm going to keep it here all year. This is the Batman to my Batman to Robin right there. I feel like you're Batman, and I might be Robin.
I don't know about that.
Anyways, thank you so much for everybody for joining us. I'm going to forget names, but shout out to Adara, shout out to Sharif, Fabian, Ramin, Laura, Brendo over there, Neil, chilling out now as well. I mean, Neil puts in so much work as well we all do, for all of us. Sharif, did I say Sharif? Kat back there. And all the guests that we've had this year, Frank for continuously coming out as well. I know I'm supposed to wrap this up.
Guests. Yeah, what a value.
Yeah,
I've
Michael
been learning
Noss
a
for
lot.
coming out every. We should have had champagne today. I feel like an idiot that we didn't. I don't know. But anyways, thank you to all the guests that keep coming through. Thank you to Kevin O'Leary and everybody that's joining me on the Market Recap Show. Ms. Danielle Shea continues to be there. Tammy's there as well. Brian Shannon, shout out to that guy as well. Happy New Year to you too, Justin. And Happy New Year to everybody behind us. And I just really excited about what this new year brings. And yeah, that's about it. Obi, wrap this thing up.
Yeah,
or else I'll just keep talking.
No, I think you've done pretty well, kind of wrapping it up there. So I'll keep it sweet and short there. Again, it's an honor to be here. I'm humbled. I've been learning a lot, and it's been great. I hope you guys have gotten that value as well. And yeah, thank you to everybody who makes this show possible, man. Like, this is absolutely amazing. Nobody else is necessarily doing it like this. So there's a lot of I respect you guys a lot for that. And with that, I want to wish you guys a happy New Year, and spend some time with family, and yeah, take care.
We almost didn't have our power bill paid there, but we got it just paid.
We'll see you guys in the new year.
Ciao.